It's very common that pilots confuse the definition of pitch attitude with angle of attack. It's very important not to confuse the difference between the two. Angle of attack is the angle between the chord line of the wing or aerofoil and the relative wind or relative airflow. What does that mean? Well, that's airflow relative to motion. For example, there's no wind blowing here in this room, but if I move my hand like that through the air, I feel a breeze on my hand. That's wind or breeze relative to the motion of my hand. So if this model was flying in this direction, the relative airflow would be coming from where my fingers are. Hope that makes sense. Attitude, pitch attitude, is the angle, put very simply, between the nose of the aeroplane as seen by the pilot forward of the windscreen and the natural horizon. Let's consider that this model aeroplane is travelling in this direction. Therefore, the relative airflow will be coming from where my fingers are, and we will have a level pitch attitude, and as you can see, I hope, a low angle of attack. In other words, the angle between the chord line and the relative airflow is quite low. Now let's change the attitude and flight path of the aeroplane. Something like this. You can see now I have a high pitch attitude, and I'm going to suggest that we're taking the flight path in this direction. Now the relative wind is coming from here. I hope you can see clearly now that we have a high pitch attitude, but still a low angle of attack. They're different, aren't they? Okay, maintain the pitch attitude, change the flight path like this. In the same attitude, I now have a high pitch attitude and a high angle of attack. Let's go the other way. Let's use a low pitch attitude. On this flight path, you'll see I have a low pitch attitude, and here's the relative wind, therefore a low angle of attack. Same attitude, different flight path. Now I'll have a low pitch attitude and a high angle of attack. So you can see that there are some important differences there between the two.